Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a review of Cheez-It Snapped, so stay tuned. So just to give you guys a little brief history of Cheez-Its, I've eaten them and I was a kid, but I haven't eaten them to that extent. I probably tried it maybe a couple of times when I was little, and maybe a couple of times when I got older. But I didn't really eat them that much because I used to think they had this kind of weird salty taste to it. And then when you bit into it, it kind of left this kind of like strange aftertaste. So after about maybe a couple of them, I just couldn't, just wouldn't sit right with me. So that's kind of the reason why I never really got into Cheez-Its in the first place. But they were okay. So Cheez-Its are a cheese cracker that are manufactured by the Kellogg Company through the Sunshine Biscuit division. They began in the year 1921 by the Green and Green Company, and they were based in Dayton, Ohio. So they've been around for quite a long time, and I'm sure over the time there's been changes that have been made in the process of making them. So I'm not going to go too much into the original history because I don't have that much information about Cheez-Its, the original history, but I will tell you and I will give you an in-depth review on the new Cheez-Its Snapped based on what I think. And take this with a grain of salt. I will tell you this because I've already actually tried it. This isn't my first time eating it. I've tried it, and I will tell you basically an honest opinion of it. So before we get into the entire chip itself, this is the bag. You have a red and yellow design. You have the bottom half of the bag is a yellow color, and then the top half is red with white text lettering in really big words. So it's pretty obvious that you know what you're getting, and it's in really big letters. Even Cheez-Its is set at the top. And right at the bottom right, you have double cheese. And towards the bottom left, as you can see, it says made with 100% real cheese. For whatever reason, when they said made with 100% real cheese, I was kind of skeptical because I've tried snacks in the past, and sometimes whenever they tell you it's made of 100% real cheese, it's kind of a gimmick just to make you think that you're actually getting the real thing when they actually put substitutes in them for it. So, but don't get me wrong, they could really be using real cheese, and maybe they are actually telling the truth. So, but yeah, that's what's on the front, and as you can see on the bottom right hand corner, its net weight is 7.5 ounces. So you're getting 7.5 ounces, 212 grams, and that's the entire bag serving. So let's turn around and let's look at the back. So on the back, you'll notice that you have your nutrition facts, and I paused for a second. So the nutrition facts, a lot of people don't follow the nutrition facts. A lot of people really like eating something and they just continue to eat it until whenever. So basically you have 20 crisps. They call them crisps, which is funny because they also call chips crisps in Europe. So basically the serving size are 20 crisps per one person. So in this bag, each individual diamond or square diamond shaped chip, you're supposed to only eat 20 of them, but not everybody follows that rule. So and let's get into the calories. So you get 150 calories. These are all per serving, by the way. 150 calories per serving, a total fat of 8 grams, Saturated fat, yes, it does have saturated fat, 1.5 grams. Trans fat, it has no trans fat. Moly unsaturated fat, it has 4 grams of that. Mono unsaturated fat, 2 grams. Cholesterol, less than 5 milligrams. Sodium, 250 milligrams. Total carbs, 19 grams. Total dietary fiber, 1 gram. Total sugars, less than 1 gram. Included added sugar, protein 2 grams, vitamin D, calcium, iron 0.6 milligrams, potassium 60 milligrams, 0%. So, yeah, those are the nutrition facts. But the more important things that you guys would like to know are what is inside of these chips and what are these chips made out of. So, let's look at the ingredients. And I'm going to pause for a second so you guys can see what it's made of. So it's made of enriched flour, wheat flour, niacin, reduced iron, vitamin B1, thiamine, mononitrates, vitamin B2, riboflavin, folic acid, soybean oil with TBHQ for freshness, modified cornstarch, dry potatoes, white cheddar cheese, milk, cheese cultures, salt enzymes, contains 2% or less of salt, oat fiber, sugar, cheddar cheese, milk, cheese cultures, salt, enzymes, monosodium glutamate, whey, onion powder, sour cream, non-fat milk cultures, lactic acid, citric acid, buttermilk, dextrose, paprika extract color, annatto extract color, soy lecithin, garlic powder, cultured non-fat milk, disodium inocyanates, disodium guanylates, natural flavor, turmeric extract color, and it also contains wheat, milk, and soy ingredients. So, what do I think about that? Basically, what I have to say is I'm not surprised about the ingredients, but there wasn't too many artificial things. So, I'm going to say that's okay. Because I've seen chips with a lot of other artificial enhancements. But I guess these do seem normal for a chip of this particular kind. I think that it really emphasizes what you're getting and what it's going to taste like. So basically, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the ingredients, but I'm going to go into more detail about what they taste like. So the Cheez-Its Snapped, do they taste like original Cheez-Its? And this is what I'm going to tell you from a person that, let's say I never had one Cheez-It in my entire life. If I've never had Cheez-It in my entire life, and I tried Cheez-It Snap for the first time, I would have thought that they tasted like something completely different. And I'm telling you that honestly. They don't taste anything like Cheez-Its. And if you had tried Cheez-Its and you tried Cheez-Its Snapped, you would still think that they taste nothing like Cheez-Its. And I'm going to tell you that honestly, because for whatever reason, when I tried them, even for the first maybe the first chip and then the second chip and then the third chip, and I was thinking they almost remind me of a mixture of Doritos and Fritos and a tortilla chip mixed together in some sort of strange way. But they don't taste anything like Cheez-Its. Even the texture of the chip are not anywhere near the same texture of a Cheez-It. A Cheez-It has a kind of rough texture, and it has this really kind of saltiness, like a bitter salty. So when you bite into it and you taste it with your tongue, it has this bitter salty cheese. It definitely tastes like cheese, but it's a different type of cheese that they use. So, but this Cheez-It, the Cheez-It Snapped, which I don't even want to call a real Cheez-It because it really doesn't taste like one. It has this kind of more natural kind of cheesy chip flavor that kind of tastes like, I wouldn't call it a Dorito because they taste different from Doritos. I wouldn't say it tastes better than Doritos. And I'm not gonna really compare them to Doritos that much. They taste like your average chip you would get at a store with cheese in them. But basically, the saltiness on a scale of 1 to 10, I wouldn't say they're not salty, but I would give them maybe a 6. They're slightly over salted, but not too salty. It's just enough to the point where you know when you need to not eat any more of them because you're starting to kind of gorge onto like really salty chips. But I would say that they do have a nice crunch when you bite into them, when you chew into them. They're not too hard, they're not too soft, and they do stay fresh for quite a while when you have them, let's say, stored in your pantry or on your kitchen counter. As long as you close and seal the bag, they do stay fresh. So I would say if I was to give them a rating on the taste, I would say I would give them, I wouldn't give it a 1 because they definitely taste good. And I wouldn't give them a 10 because they're definitely not like the best tasting chips I've ever had. But I would probably give them somewhere between a 4 and a 6. Can't say a 6, I can't say a 4. So maybe it would be a half, 50-50. Because I believe there could be improvements. Like maybe slightly less salt. If it had like maybe a little bit less salt, it'd be a little bit more appetizing. Just because, I mean, salt is not bad for you as an element because it's on the periodic table of elements, sodium, NaCl. But too much salt isn't good for you either. So, but I would say that if it had a little bit less salt, it would probably enhance certain flavors to a higher degree. Like, you'd probably taste more of the cheese if it wasn't for the sodium. And then you'd also probably taste more of the wheat and the flour that they, as stated in the ingredients, if it wasn't for that as well. So I have to say that over a period of time, would I say that you could eat this like for like a year, like a whole entire year or a whole 2 years? I don't know about that because I believe that it does have a life, like, and I believe that it does end because it's not. I would say it's okay, but it's not like the best tasting chip I've ever had. So I would say, based on everything that I've gathered and tried and everything, I mean, I've had a bunch of different types of chips growing up and as a kid and as a teenager. But I would give it's okay. So one more thing, I kind of didn't go too much into it, but I want to go into the design of the overall packaging. What does it do? Let's see. I would say that I kind of like the design. It's okay. It's definitely not bad. I would say it's a cool design. It's like red on yellow. It kind of like gives me that Spanish vibe, like Mexico, like Mexican vibe. But it's definitely not probably anywhere close to that. Because it's just a cheese cracker, a cheese chip. So basically, it's just red on yellow and some white text. But they kind of did some nice design to it. Who knows what they use? Photoshop maybe? But it's cool. I feel that it's kind of simple, but let me know what you guys think. Is the simplicity of the design a good thing? It's very basic. It's just yellow with, I mean, you could hand draw this yourself. I don't see who couldn't, and use a mirrorless or DSLR to take the pictures of the cheese chips. They're pretty nice pictures. So anyways, that concludes this video review of the Cheez-It Snap cracker. Not a cracker. I wouldn't call it a cracker. It's a chip, but it's a small chip. It's a baked chip, I think. Anyways, that concludes the video, and I hope you found it informative, and I hope you found it interesting, because I think that there's a lot of food items that are kind of new that you would want to kind of want to try out sometime when you go to the store, especially at this period of time we're living in. So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I hope you liked this review, and if you liked it, please hit that like button for more videos like this in the future. And I hope you guys stay safe, and see you in the next one.